Cole's our fact checker, kind of like Jamie on the Joe Rogan show, so he can jump on and if we talk shit, he can look it up and make sure we're actually legit.
I don't have any facts.
I mean, Marty's not wrong. He's not.
And there we go.
Don't Google that, Cole. Don't fact check that.
He's got
Jesus,
Superman
sorry.
facts.
Imagine the Google browser on the. Oh, jeez.
Superman versus Batman.
Is he looking at? Was he looking it up?
Yeah.
I can't read.
You're listening to the Bent Motorsports Podcast with the owner of Bent Motorsports, David Beckett, and his crew, Jacob Hunsinger, James Hernandez, and Jake Russo. Listen in as the guys discuss all things motorsports, including tech tips and current shop projects.
So we're doing this podcast is going to be a little bit funky because it's not the normal crew. Both Jakes are busy, and we just went to Holcomb Creek last weekend, but Ken was out of town. But we've got Ken here. Jake was at Holcomb Creek, but he's got something to do tonight, so he's not here. Bill is here, who bought Brian's Jeep. So Brian was at Holcomb Creek, so Bill's here, and then we've got Marty, and so it's just the four of us, and so we got Marty, Ken, Bill, and myself. No Jakes, no James, and we're going to talk about Holcomb Creek that we were all at, except for Ken, who was in Indiana.
No, I was here, but my scouts broke down.
Oh, were you here when we did Holcomb?
Yeah,
When did you
I
go
was
to
here
Indiana?
last weekend, Monday.
Oh, Monday. Oh, that's right.
But the transmission and scouts supposed to be done. Well, I didn't get a call today, so I'm assuming Monday, based on my conversation on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, and so that was just pretty much it's grenaded, it's toast. Now,
So-
you had how long ago did you have that rebuilt? The first time,
Like 3 years ago, to the day, almost to the day, for that matter.
right? And then we did Rubicon with it, and it gave up on the Rubicon, and you brought it back in and said, hey, it needs to be repaired, and it didn't quite get repaired. did it?
Well, so yeah, I didn't. Those weren't my words, right? My words were that hey, it leaked, it drained all the fluid, and my mistake was I didn't tell him that. Hey, this thing lost all its fluid, 100%.
Right,
You need to tear it down,
right.
and that part is on me, I guess. They filled it up, fixed the leak, and that was the end of it. And
Oh, I see. So,
so then, like over the course of the following 12 months, between everything was going on, right? We only put, I don't know, 300 to 500 miles on it.
yeah, and then when we get up to the gatekeeper at John Bull a few weekends ago, it reared its ugly head again of actually like, no. So, Bill, I know this is your first time on the podcast, but you need to put that phone on silent, bro.
My bad.
Yeah. as now Marty and Ken rapidly reach into their pockets to put their phones on silent.
Yep.
Oh, bunch of noobs. So okay.
My phone doesn't have silence.
Yeah, I love those commercials. God, those commercials are great. Yes, they do. Everybody has them right up here. So, all right. So transmission is getting repaired, and then we can go out and actually go wheeling again.
Yes, and they're just Transmasters.
Transmasters.
I gave up on the other shop. Should I badmouth them or should we not?
I don't give a shit.
You know, I'm not really pleased with Oceanside Transmission. As soon as I rolled in, and they saw what the Scout is, which was really identical to what it was when they rebuilt it, and they said, "Oh wow, you really wheeled this thing." Well, yeah, I told you that, and they said, "Well, we don't give off-road transmissions a warranty at all." So apparently I was lucky to get any warranty, and then they were totally backpedaling, just saying, no, we don't do that. And
Yeah, that's too bad.
So Transmasters was they wanted to upgrade for me. They wanted to bulletproof it.
Right.
So it's more money than I spent the first time.
Right.
But they're going to. He said there was not a shift kit in it, which I kind of asked for on the last time.
Which is a bummer.
And then were those solenoids in there? If I've got that right, billet solenoids is an upgrade. He says they crack or something, and so we're doing those. And then he couldn't tell me what they're going to do as far as the torque converter was concerned, so they had to get it opened up so they could see what was going on inside. And but the crazy thing about that was, he says, when you get a rebuilt, these have all got to be rebuilt, but when you get them back, they're always painted, and mine was not.
So
It gave us a question of, was it ever, did they rebuild
Curious.
that, or did they just put that back in there? Which
yeah,
poses a question like, well, maybe I just got hosed from the get-go.
I think it's suspect from day one on that transmission. And nobody knows what transmission we're talking about. What transmission does your Scout have?
So mine's a 71, came with a Borg Warner, but I swapped in a 727 torque light.
Right, which is in general, if anybody knows those transmissions, those things are pretty bomber. Those things are rad transmissions. So, and now Marty, what you had your Jeep? I've got the same transmission you have in your TJ. It's an automatic. What is it? The 42 RLE or something like that. What did it cost for you to have that rebuilt last year?
$4,000.
Yeah, see, $4,000, right? That's what
I'm right at $4,000.
Oh, Cole brought up the warranty on. It says on Oceanside Driveline.
I was just driving it.
Well, isn't everything when you're driving your personal car
Yeah, I'm not
personal
sure what that
damage?
means.
I think
Where
it's
does
cool.
it say it doesn't cover off-road?
Yeah, find if you can see where it doesn't cover off-roading.
Well, let's be clear. I mean, in their defense in this situation, right? I was out of warranty.
Well, you were just
I was
there.
a year out of warranty. No,
Yeah.
but the issue was their warranty was 2 years, 24,000 miles. I had 1,500 miles on this transmission. And
Right,
it
right,
was
and
smoked.
and what
And it
the
left
bigger
me, and it
question
left me
is,
stranded, right? 800 miles or so into it.
yeah, the bigger question is why did you ask for a shift kit and a rebuilt torque converter and you didn't get those things, right?
Right.
So either there was a miscommunication right from the beginning all the way to the end of that relationship, but whatever. I mean that
Well, it leaked, right? First off, it leaked from the time I brought it home, and I
Right.
took it back, and they claimed it was an oil pan. So I bought a new oil pan and took it back to them for them to put that on, right? Well, that's not where the leak ever was, and so then because I brought it home after that, it was still leaking. I took the pan off myself to see what am I dealing with, and that's just not where the leak was. It was up on the side of the case. And international guys, and I wish I could quote the proper spec, but I can't. I ran into some guys, a group of guys from Scouts West at TDS in this year, in 2020, and they said, oh yeah, and they rattled off immediately what it was that was the problem up on the side of the case. And interesting part about that was, and I couldn't tell you the name, but that didn't seem to coincide with what the notes were that they actually put on the invoice when they
right.
did the repair.
Yeah. And
Which is not what they told me though either.
right. And now I'm just being the guy who owns a shop and does repairs, we all understand that shit happens. We all understand that sometimes things don't work out. But it just seems like to me from the very beginning of this relationship you've had with them is it's not gone as good as it could have. So I'm glad that we're trying Transmasters out in Esco, and we're going to see what they can do. I know that those guys race Jeep Speed Jeeps, so they kind of get the off-road world. They understand it maybe a little better than the other shop, and they can give you a better transmission. And also knowing the full history, right? The story that you've told just us now, you've told them, so they kind of gotta step it up, and they were willing to. They didn't turn you away. They said, "Yep, we can do better."
That's what they said, and it was, hey, there's not. I think their warranty is 12 months, 12,000 miles, or something like that.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not going to put 12,000 miles on it a year. It's not gonna be anywhere close to that. But his comment to me the whole time was, "I don't want this to happen to you again."
Right.
So for us to give you that sense of security, here's what we're recommending. So I couldn't tell him no when he told me, "Hey, here's the upgrades you want to do."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
$800 and some dollars in parts and upgrades, and I'm like,
Yeah,
really?
but see, think
I
about
gotta
this
do this
though.
all over again.
But think about it though. You're getting a $4,000 transmission rebuild, and you're going to get all those upgrades, whereas Marty got a stock transmission rebuild for that same price. And I've got to do my transmission now, and I'm bringing it to Transmasters, and they're going to do my transmission. It's going to be the same price, and all I'm getting to get is a stock transmission. But I'm going to have them do upgrades on mine, so I'm going to spend a lot more. So I'll probably be in the $5,000 range. But
Yeah, but yours is a more recent transmission. Shouldn't it be a little bit cheaper?
it's got electronics in it, right?
Yeah.
So that stuff's more expensive. And I'm going to put in a crawler gear on the tail housing, so I'm going to put a Ruby crawler on it. That's a $1,600 upgrade, so I'll have to add that to the
That's
list.
not really part of the transmission rebuild. That's an
No,
add-on.
that's an add-on for sure.
Yeah.
But
That's external, right?
Yeah, you replace the tail housing and put that on.
Yeah.
Gives me an extra 272 crawler right there. So I'll
Extra
finally
272.
Yeah, so I'll finally get to 100 to 1. Finally. Dude, I off-road with you guys. I did the Rubicon with you, and my Jeep has only got a 35 to 1 crawl ratio.
I think I'm close to 50 to 1 in the Scout.
Yeah. Stock Rubicons and the JKs, right? The JLs are 98 to 1 or something like that. 95
The
to 1.
sticks, the manuals.
The manuals, yeah.
Yeah, the JKs are
'Cause they've got a
52
crawl.
to 1, I believe.
Yeah, but then
No.
the
Well,
JKs.
JK, yeah.
JK, yes.
But then
Because the automatic, I think, is around, if I remember correctly,
70
like
something.
77.
Yeah. But still, I mean, I'm at like 38. Jeez, come on, man. 50 would be wonderful.
That's why you got to cover that brake all the time.
This is why my brakes are smoked every time we go out, because I'm always covering the brake, trying not to hump, because I got to give it so much gas to get over the rock. Whatever, that's all getting fixed. We're going to get all that fixed, and it's going to be much better.
I'm really wishing, though, that I would have just done the LS swap with either a
Oh, yeah,
4L80
Cole-
or a 6L80.
Cole pulled it up for us. It's a 77.2 to 1
Yeah.
on the Rubicon with a 410 gears in it. 77.2 to 1. Thanks, Cole. So now let's talk about Holcomb. We just did Holcomb. So Bill has purchased Brian's Jeep and got to go out and do Holcomb for the first time. So we thought we'd take him out. I know Holcomb's a black diamond run, but it's a very easy black diamond run.
If you drive that gatekeeper and you don't bypass it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you go on the right-hand side, you can bypass it. You drive on the left-hand side, it's hardcore.
I thought this time it was way easier. The gatekeeper was.
The gatekeeper was a piece of cake. The
Yeah, it
hardest part
was.
this time was the left side of the river crossing thing.
Actually, both
That's what you might be
sides.
thinking of.
Is that at the first left?
I
Or
think
a little
so.
further down.
You come down and you do like a left, and then there was a really interesting
Brand new hole in the hill going
yeah
uphill.
there's a steep uphill portion
Oh,
that had
yeah.
2 huge ruts in it, and they were
Gnarly.
off-centered ruts, right? So you go this way, then that way, and the right side rut was 4 feet vertical that you got to put a tire on and just go up it. And of course, I slid into the wall and then just kept on the gas. And with lockers, I get up it, right? Todd was the only one who didn't make it, but Todd ended up.
Todd wrecked the left side and then made it easier to go up afterwards. So
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
could go
exactly.
left afterwards.
So Todd tried so many times trying to stay left to get up it that he burned out like the steepness of the left side, and then he just winched out, and everybody else came and just drove right up the left side like it was not even there. And I'm like,
Like for the stock TJ, that was
He-
gnarly, dude.
yeah.
That was.
but
so-
he made it. He went for
He
it.
made
man.
it,
He
and-
was an animal.
so the
my
stock
God.
TJ was a Rubicon, so he could lock the front and rear. So he went on the left side, and he went up it. He just did a Jeep wave with his left tire about 5 feet in the air, and he made it though. It
and
was
he
awesome.
He was leaned over so far.
So far, it looked right.
I want to see somebody got video on. Maybe Sally got video.
I think
or
Sally
something.
got video of
I
it.
hope she did. I actually pulled up YouTube videos. I was looking for recent videos. I wanted to see what it looked like a week ago, a month ago. I wanted to see if anybody had all these issues on it, and I found one that was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you could tell. I mean, you could see it. It didn't look as bad as what we went through, but it was still pretty gnarly.
Yeah. So Ken, also picture this: that we're going up a very steep hill, and it's rutted out like that, and both ruts are full of mud and water,
Yeah.
and you're having to throw big, giant like
Logs.
chunks of log in there to get your tires up out of
Just
the mud.
Right after a creek crossing?
It was a small creek crossing.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything.
Yeah,
it
it's-
wasn't
it
one of
was-
the big.
It was probably 70 yards after that. But you're a good way up the hill, and then all of a
It
sudden
must
this
just
thing
be-
Why
shows
was there
up
so
on
much
you.
water?
I don't know if it's underground water just coming up.
It wasn't a rock garden creek call. It was a creek crossing. It was just a
Dirt road.
yeah.
How did you remember where Brian was standing on his oil pan skid plate the
Yeah.
last time we did it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how'd Bill do through that section?
We took Bill through the right side of that section, and we all went through the left side. Well, the stock, the Stevensons, the stock Ruby, and Bill went to the right,
Yeah.
and the rest of us went to the left. And Bill did fine through there. I mean, that we all know that Jeep can do it. It's just a matter of spotting Bill and showing him the line.
Yeah, Russo spotted him, right? Russo.
No, Russo did not spot me. Russo spotted Todd.
Oh, that's right.
That's why
You're
Todd
right.
was humping that rock
Yeah,
for a half
Todd-
hour.
Todd got hung up on it was like perfect, right in the middle of like his transmission skid.
Ooh.
You know, I mean, like just
It
he was
was awesome.
turtling. He was turtling. He couldn't move.
It was pretty funny. And then Russo went over to grab a rock, and everybody yelled, "No!
Yeah, that's right.
Break another finger off. Don't grab another rock."
You make him winch?
No, he finally got out. We stacked some rocks under one of
Yeah.
the tires, and it popped him off. So it was good. It was a fun day. That was a really nice trail. Good weather that day. Saw a deer. Saw a
Mhm.
bobcat.
Well, you did.
Lots of,
You were
No
in the
li-
front.
No late night.
no, we
No.
were airing up at 2:30.
Yeah.
Down bottom of the mountain by 3. Home by dinner.
Nice.
Yeah, it took what, about an hour, over an hour to get down the mountain just because of the traffic. It was kind of
Yeah, so we went on Sunday, right? Because Trish never gets to go, right? So we changed it to Sunday, and we went on, and all the way up there, it was like, oh man, there's no traffic. This is sweet. Sunday's the day to go. And then you're leaving the mountain at 3 going, wait, everybody who was up here
Yeah.
for the weekend, Arrowhead, Big Bear, everything, they're all trying to leave. And at the bottom, they got that stupid bridge construction, so it's one-way
Yeah.
traffic. So that little traffic light lets like 10 cars through and then turns red. So we were literally backed up the mountain 5, 6 switchbacks. I mean,
oh,
Ugh.
2, 3 miles up.
yeah, at least
It took us a half an hour to get through
45
that.
minutes.
45 minutes? Took us 45 minutes to get through
Wow.
that. So that was the only downfall, was that part of it. But other than that, it was a good day. It was fun. I think it'll be nice to go back. And we had 12 rigs with
Yeah.
us. 2 more LJs, which was cool. It was fun to see the other LJs.
They were all Jeeps though.
All Jeeps. Every one of them. No Explorers, no Internationals,
Thus the early.
no
Tacomas.
Toyotas.
That's why we finished early. Just saying.
Oh, well,
My wife gave me the green light to buy a Jeep.
yeah, why so why are we here? Why aren't we at a dealership?
Yeah.
Well, this is why that transmission is going to be so good, is because they're actually
didn't say
going to
new.
wrap it around a Jeep.
No, but I didn't have a choice, right? It still had to be fixed, so that's getting fixed. And I've been shopping. Kind of want a JL. Want a billet silver metallic, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Ideally a JL, possibly a JK, late model JK, Recon.
Like a Recon, yeah. Which is, the Recon is really the prototype for a JL anyways, right? It's got the military axles that
From the
come on the
axles,
JLs now.
Yeah, the 216s and 226 axles.
Right. That's why I like those Recons so much. Well, and then Brian's in the market for a Jeep too, right? I mean, he sold his Jeep to Bill now, so
We might go look tomorrow.
yeah, you guys
Together?
can gonna hold hands.
Yeah,
or
well maybe.
Or fist fight.
There's a Lemon Law one that he's that we've been eyeballing. It's been for sale for weeks, and no movement on it.
do you know what it got lemon lawed for?
Pulls to the right. That's what it says. Well, and I'm like going, this is a
Jeez.
no-brainer, man. It pulls to the right. It's front axle, it's straight axle. It can't be complicated.
Dude, I can fix that.
And so, which is my thought. Brian wants the granite metallic, and so it'd be great not to have the same color. And so, this is the color he wants. So I really should kind of yield to him and let him go after it.
Whatever.
But
You should buy it and then sell it to him.
there's only, I don't remember what year it is. If it's probably a 19, but there's only like 800 miles on the thing, and it got lemon lawed out. I just don't see
How does that
that's
thing get
impossible.
lemon lawed after only 800 miles?
Yeah,
That customer was pissed. Brought it back 3 times in 800 miles.
for sure. The question is so Brian Googled it right and said, hey, there's three issues. Steering stabilizer. There was a frame issue. I don't think it's on the 19s. I think it's just the 18s. Regarding a weak frame weld at the
I know
steering
where
box.
it's at. I can weld it for you. No problem.
Sure, right? And then the last thing was, I think the tie rod.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't that steering box? The stabilizer was backwards. They were putting those things on
that was
backwards.
that was the question.
Yeah.
But so for me, if it's one of those 3 items, why in the hell would they lemon law it for that? That's crazy.
I think it's just because they have to, right? If the
Well,
customer
why
brought
didn't
it,
they fix it?
Well, that's the thing. They fixed
Yeah,
the weld
well-
the first time. That didn't fix it. Then
No,
the
but
tie
that-
rod went bad, so we brought it in for that. Didn't fix the same problem. Then they found out the box was backwards. That's the 3rd time. Lemon law.
So if it's an 18 and the technical service bulletin didn't come out yet, right, and the mechanics didn't figure it out and the thing's been sitting in limbo for all this time, then I sort of get it, because the mechanics at the dealerships nowadays, they can't diagnose shit. If
No.
it's not, if the manufacturer doesn't tell them what to look for, you don't really get a diagnosis from them. It's like, okay, here's the symptoms, plug that into the system. If the system doesn't give you an answer, we don't really know what to do.
It's true. It's sad, but it's one of those 3-ring binder. Open it up and follow the flow chart and send it. So it's interesting, the lemon law thing too, because Shelly, my wife's dad, he had a car for 5 or 6 years, and over the 5 or 6 years, he had brought it in 3 different times for the air conditioning not working correctly. And on the 3rd time he brought it in, he said, I'm kind of bummed that this is the 3rd time I've done this. And they just went, yep, yeah, we understand. Here's your money, and we'll take the keys, and bye. Lemon law. There you go. Bye. Go somewhere else. And he was like, what? And they're like, they don't even argue anymore. Like before, back in the day, you had to threaten, like, hey, I'm going to lemon law you. Now the dealerships have all figured out that don't even argue, don't even try to fix it again. Whatever. You win. Here's your money. See ya. We'll sell it tomorrow. It's gone. No, he went and bought an Acura. They gave him a check, and so it was an Oldsmobile. And they said, we'll take this back, and you can go pick a new car off the lot, or we'll give you a check for this much. So he took the check and went and bought an Acura.
Well, before I bought Brian's Jeep, I was down in San Diego looking at Jeeps that were lemon lawed, and there was one. I'm like, so why was this lemon lawed? He goes, the radio hummed. I'm like, why didn't you replace the radio? He goes, we did 3 times. He goes, it was just static through the radio, and the guy just couldn't handle it. So we bought it back. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, they don't even argue anymore. The dealership's not arguing. It's easier for them to just set you free and then sell the car to somebody else.
Well, because the manufacturer has to buy it back, right? The dealership's not taking a hit.
Right, exactly. So what do they care? Why argue?
Right.
They've clearly got orders from the manufacturer to say, just offer them a new one or give them a check. Quantity game, right?
Yeah, because one of those
Quantity.
things, people say, oh, I'm a lemon law, and then they get a lemon law lawyer, and then the dealership has to, or they at Dodgers, whoever has to pay for a lawyer, and it's more money out. Just buy the thing back, and we'll sell it on the lot as lemon law, and we'll make more money.
Exactly. Because there's a lot of guys like us who go, oh, radio hum? Yeah, whatever. I'll take that.
So
$12,000 off invoice? All right, I'm good. I'll take it.
So the one Brian was looking at, he looked at the Carfax report, and it went to auction. Do you know if that's typical?
I believe it went to
A dealer auction. Yeah.
Sure.
Dealer auction.
I mean, so the manufacturer bought it back, and then because this one's a NorCal Jeep, and
So it's on what lot's it on? It's not at a Jeep dealership. It's at some other lot.
I think it happens to be at a Jeep dealership, but
Yeah.
Carl Berger down in
Sure.
El Cajon or La Mesa or something like that.
Carl Berger, that's the where I looked at it. And when I went there, they had 19 lemon law Jeeps. So apparently they're like, hey, this is good for us. So Carl Berger's bringing them in, and I'm sure they're moving them because they keep bringing them in. Because when I went, they literally had 19.
Wow.
That's pretty rad. A lot of lemon laws happening out there.
Apparently. They don't have them all listed for sale, I don't think.
Well, this was like 8-9 months ago when I was looking. There's only like a couple that fit the parameters I was looking for, but yeah, they had tons of them there.
I think get a lemon law one. As long as they're telling you up front what the lemon law is, then we were all familiar enough with these JKs that we can figure it out, or even the JLs.
And I even talked to the manager there. I'm like, so this is lemon law. If I buy it and it still has that problem, I screwed. He goes, no, it's still under warranty. You bring it in, we'll do warranty work on it. It's a warranted vehicle. He goes, we had the lemon law for that person, but it's under warranty. I'm like, okay. So it seemed like a really good option to me.
Yeah, and I was straight axle. I'm like, what is the problem here? Dealer, why didn't you solve this? I didn't understand. I don't get it.
They just didn't. They didn't try hard enough. They didn't care, probably. Whatever. Their loss, your gain.
Not yet.
So if you and Brian both go out and get a Jeep, where are we going first?
I don't know. The badges go with the Jeep, right? So we got to redo all the trails.
We got to redo them all again. Although if I never do Gold Mountain again, it'll be too soon.
I know. I hate Gold Mountain.
I mean, can we just drive next to that
Rough.
one and
So
check in
far.
and then?
That
What was
might have
that
been what
comment?
I did on the way home.
It's just harsh. I mean, it's just.
It's
so
got
rough.
It's got the one
know
waterfall at
why.
the beginning, and then you're driving through
Yeah.
sharp rocks the rest of the
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
worrying about
Yeah,
your
but-
tires getting cut.
I guess I just wasn't worried about it. I mean, because that rock garden, if you veer
The rock
off
garden
the trail,
is fun.
you veer off the main path,
Yeah.
you can just pick your own line, and you can have a lot of fun out
Yeah.
there.
You veered off the path last time,
did.
and I followed you. Shelly's like, "Follow Ken." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Wait, where's he going?" Son of a bitch. It was fun though.
Why is he stuck?
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. I thought it was really fun. But yeah, all right. Well, yeah. So we'll just do them all again, right? We got to do them all again.
Yeah,
But you know what? I don't want to go do them all on the same day. It's so nice getting off the mountain at 3. Like
It's yes.
it was truly nice to go up and just take your time. We even stopped for an hour and had lunch. Like literally, just relaxing all the way, and then
if it's just the
But the
five
last
of us,
couple times we did John Bull, and what did we do? Did we do John Bull before that too? We did John Bull back to back.
Yep.
And both of those were late nights.
well, because we brought a Ford Explorer both times,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
and on the second time, a Ford Explorer and a Tacoma.
Yeah.
It took us. I mean, Kevin ate up an easy hour and a half getting him out of that one spot.
He chewed up quite a bit of time at the
Wow,
gatekeeper, too.
Yeah.
He chewed up.
I mean, we were at the
everybody chewed-
gatekeeper for like 3 hours.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, right.
I was there a long time watching you
Yeah, yeah.
guys
yeah,
before I drove down the mountain.
Watching 2 or 3 guys.
No, everyone made it through. Well, yeah. Yes, point taken. Yes. 2 or 3 guys took up the majority of that time. Yes.
yeah. That John Bull was silty. It was a
was.
tough trail. You would get on like that. You know, once you get through the gatekeeper, you do that climb, right? You're climbing, and it's all boulders and stuff, which is cool, right? It's what we want. But all the boulders were covered with silt,
Super
and
slick.
you'd pick the line, and then your whole Jeep would just slip off to this side, and now both your diffs are hung up. And you're like,
And this
Jesus.
time everything was wet, so you just slip off the rock.
Yep. So it was fun, though. I mean, that's what we go for, right? We go to be challenged, and it's neat that it changes, and it was fun.
That's cool that it changed.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that, I mean, your reaction that the gatekeeper was not, that
It
left
wasn't
side
at
was
all.
not a hard
you
line.
could see it. It was like a road. Just follow the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was. We all walked through the gatekeeper at Holcomb. It was no big deal.
Hmm.
And I told Bill, I'm like, see, no big deal.
Yeah,
That's the gatekeeper.
Because I'll tell you right now, I knew that Jeep could do what that Jeep could do. I'd been in that Jeep going through there, but when you're the one driving, it's a whole different situation when you got
Yeah.
to pick the line. You've got to
what do you
worry
think about? What do you think about the Jeep thing now? Are you stoked you bought it, or you?
No, absolutely. I'm stoked that I bought it. I can't wait to get it out to the desert this year. Do Bradshaw Trail, do all those trails out there. Get out to some gold mines because
Mojave and all that.
yeah, I still have the cross track, and I love that thing for going overland. But the road gets a little rough. That thing's a tripod wizard. So you're on 3 wheels the whole way, and even on little obstacles, it gets stressful because you're tripoding and it throws you in weird directions. So yeah, this Jeep is going to be good
Way
for
better.
some of those harder trails.
Yeah, way better. You'll get to go a lot further out and explore a lot further. It'll be
Absolutely.
better.
And then we could take the cross track and we make that our base camp and then roll out with the Jeep from there. So it'll work out.
Yeah. No, that'll be perfect.
There's a lot we haven't done. Calico.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we do
Calico.
Calico?
Yeah,
I don't know,
Calico.
We always go to the Jeep
Yeah,
Badge of
that's-
Honor trails, which we've all done numerous
That's
times. So
that's
now
got to
we're
be in
all-
the fall, though, right? Temperatures
Yeah,
have
it's
to
the middle of
drop.
the desert too. Like right now in summertime, there's what are we going to do? We can either drive out of the state and go somewhere else, or we got to go north. Well, the only place that's cool enough to wheel is Big Bear.
Right.
Everywhere else is just too damn hot.
Or too damn far. I mean, next one is Northern California.
Although I keep hearing, I mean, I've never been to Valley of the Moon. Isn't that south?
I don't
Right
know.
down by the border or something?
Yeah, but once again, that's
I know it's hot out there.
hot and crazy. But yeah, definitely for a fall or winter trip, that would be.
If
that
they're
would be a
all
good time.
Jeeps, if they're all modern Jeeps, it's a different question. If I'm bringing the Scout, then that has to be a serious question.
Well, right, because yeah, exactly, right. But if you get a Jeep, if you and Brian buy new Jeeps, then we've all got air conditioning, then we can do something like that. Or I know we're all going to do Moab next year, right? That's going to be our big one, hopefully. Or is that
Oh,
not? Are we out?
We're
Are
going,
we out?
We're going back to the Rubicon, right?
Why?
Carmel's gonna have a party.
Have have the party in Utah.
I want to do the Rubicon
I do like
again.
the Rubicon. The Rubicon was fun. Do you want to do the Rubicon again in your Scout, or do you want to do the Rubicon in a Jeep?
Assuming that I get the right Jeep and it's built, I would take the Jeep.
Yeah.
But I could go either way. I mean,
Yeah.
I could go either way.
Yeah.
Doing
Well, I
it
mean,
doing it in the Scout and succeeding and having it all go smooth would be satisfactory.
It would be satisfactory, but as far as I'm concerned, you did it. You made it up Cadillac Hill to the viewpoint.
No, and I agree, but you know, I chose to drive there, which right, that would have really saved the transmission a lot of abuse if I would have trailered it.
Right.
The 3-speed doing 65, 70 miles an hour up there was probably not the most prudent thing to do.
Right. That probably
your
pulled
eyes.
it.
Save your eyes some too.
Yeah, I was pretty wiped out, man.
That's
No-
a tough 600 miles in an open
Yeah.
cockpit.
Oh,
I mean, Jake and I had my top off too, but I mean, I had air conditioning at least blasting on me that you could feel every once in a while. And
I had
but
the heat going.
yeah, you had the heater on so you wouldn't overheat. You know, and then we had our headphones on too, so we could talk to each other and we could listen to music and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to do Rubicon again. Bill hasn't done Rubicon. Bill's got to do Rubicon.
Yeah, see, Rubicon's got me nervous.
Why?
Still got me nervous.
What, dude? It's Captain
know.
Ron it, man. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen. It's happening
absolutely.
out there, man.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna go.
No, see, that's the thing. I'll say right now I'm nervous, and I'll be there and I'm nervous, but it's not like I'm
Here
not
it
going to go.
Yeah, here all it is. Okay, remember the area where we all went left and you went right on Holcomb? It's just that for 11 miles.
Exactly.
You mean the left?
Yeah.
See, but
You've
after
got to do
watching,
John Bull first, though.
after watching Marty go through that one left, I mean, when you go through left, it doesn't really count because you're wheelbase. I followed you in the third rock garden. Worst decision I've ever made in my life because all I did was roll up and over. My short wheelbase dropped me in between three rocks, and I was stuck. But
Yeah, I was like, Bill, just go where I go. Wait, no, don't do that.
But then I watched Marty go through, and Marty, you can pick some lines. Let me tell you, your line choice is excellent.
Thank you.
And I think left would have been easier for me if I would have went the way Marty went. Because going right,
Yeah.
you
Marty,
had to
Marty
turn
does-
halfway through, and it was pretty gnarly. And
Marty doesn't like to get jostled around a lot, so he takes the buttery line. I mean, that's a hard line, but he makes it look buttery for some reason. I don't know.
that's called the 200 IQ line.
I think it's that Atlas he's got. Just makes it just crawl ratio.
Is that what he
it
wants?
out.
He wants to utilize that twin stick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, remember on the Rubicon when you got to
Yeah,
use
yeah.
just the
Yeah,
front?
yeah.
You looked. He
Wait,
looked
wait,
back at me. He goes, Dave, I'm going to use
Watch.
just the front. Watch.
Watch.
And he walked it over with the front, and then kept going. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's
Worth
fun.
it.
See, but these vehicles are built. They're not stock, right? They're not open diffs. They are on 35s
Yeah, absolutely.
and locked front and rear. So when you put that in comparison to what people used to wheel, the Jeep you have is highly modified at that point. Really,
Absolutely, for sure.
not by today's standards, but by the trail standards.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should
I completely
consider.
understand that. I knew that going in. Even last weekend, I knew that going in. But I still wanted to approach this like a total noob. That way I didn't make stupid mistakes and listen to everybody and just take everything in so I can get as much information as possible.
It worked out.
Because I'm a noob. So I'm gonna approach it like that for the next few trails.
Well, I think we for sure need to put Bill on John Bull before we do the Rubicon, because that's the closest. That hill climb is the closest thing to getting the experience for hitting up the Rubicon, right?
The Rubicon's got bypasses, but it's like
We
said,
don't take those though.
What's the point of going?
We don't take those.
I took a couple.
I don't think I did any of them.
Remember, what was it? Little Sluice? Is that the first
Yeah.
one you hit?
Yeah,
I took that bypass. And you were going to.
I was
take
going
that
to, and
that
then
one.
Ken and Brian looked at me. They looked at me and they talked to me on the radio like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing. I was going to do this."
that one, that little sluice. You know, I wish I knew the names better. I didn't pay attention. You guys researched and watched videos, and so you knew the trail so much better than I did by the orientation of the obstacles and everything else. And I'm going, what the hell's Dave doing? What is
Well-
he doing? You built that freaking Jeep, David.
Well, I know,
Let's come
I
on.
know.
Let's do this.
I feel bad, and I admit that I should have never had the feeling to go around that. Right? I should have never even thought that. But I didn't get to see Brian go through, and then I see you go through in the Scout and pinball your Scout and dent, I think, 3 out of the 4 panels when you went through that thing?
No.
Bing, 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 bing. It
No,
looked-
I did not. Not
oh,
that one.
Jesus.
At least
Look,
2.
No, not there.
and I'm like, dude, I ain't doing that.
No. Well, I got no. So let me again. Since I don't know the trail by name, right? We're talking about the obstacle where it's an uphill, total slot,
Yeah.
and Marty, you went right and went
Yeah.
up the hill.
About halfway
And,
out, you bypass.
The blonde.
Everybody
followed
else,
you.
Yeah.
but and then
Right.
everybody else went around like the trail, way around.
Well, Carmel went way around
Yeah.
left. They
Yeah.
went left and up and around. Yeah, so we're talking about the same spot. I didn't get any body damage there.
Oh, I thought you did.
I thought you
From
did
from
too.
my viewpoint, it looked like you hit them all,
Yeah.
and that's why I was like, well, maybe I'll go follow Marty. And then you guys got on the radio and went, all right, whatever, I'll go through it, and I went through it. So I did it. I didn't take any bypasses. I went through them all.
Correct. And I should say there's a couple marks on the Scout that, and I don't know where they came from.
They came from there.
Okay.
Yeah. I for me, I mean, that was really the first pretty difficult obstacle we hit on the Rubicon. Up until then, it was, little
Yeah.
things here and there, the trail. Then you hit this, and you see it, and it's just intimidating. And I was like, no. I don't want to dent
yeah.
my door. I don't want to,
But then you get through it, and then we're like, oh, okay, I get it. I see what we're
Yeah.
doing. I see what we're doing here.
But from there on, I mean, it was like, all right,
You know
cool,
what I
let's do
didn't
this.
like? You know what I didn't like? I didn't like Cadillac Hill. I'm not a big fan of a bunch of really weird
Off-camber
off-camber
with,
shit with a huge cliff.
Dude,
Yeah.
off
Like-
camber, I hate off. Even look, we were on Holcomb Creek, and there's like 3 stupid little off camber left turns.
Yeah.
They're nothing. I mean, the Jeep hardly pitches at all. Scared the crap out of me every
Yeah.
time I did every one. I hate it.
Yeah.
I wish Hunsinger was here, man. He got in the Scout. You guys have no idea, right? Because when you start talking off camber,
And you're in a Leaf Spring Scout that's
oh
way
man,
too high.
way too high, and Little Sluice was difficult, but there was zero pucker factor from the fact of there being injury to
Right.
to bodily injury,
Right.
to your person.
It was just, could I get over this big rock and around this tree?
But there were, man, I think it was earlier. I think it was before that. And we came over the top of this. We crested an obstacle, not an obstacle. We crested the hill, and there was like a left-hand turn down this granite face.
Yeah.
And you had to traverse it though. You had to traverse that left parallel with the
Yep.
right. And the whole time, talk about.
She's just leaning the whole time.
Oh, the whole time, and I'm going,
Oh.
I got to turn left, man. I got to turn down this thing. How far do I have to go across this before I can turn down? And so I can't. My most uncomfortable memories from that, and I don't know if you guys remember me yelling at you, going, "Am I gonna tip the fuck over? What the guys? Tell me am I gonna tip over? I feel like I'm on 2 wheels. I know I'm on 2 wheels, but am I gonna tip over?"
And we're all just sitting there going, I don't know, he looks good from here. I don't know.
Fine.
Well, right after you broke your drive shaft, right after that, there was a little granite. The road narrowed, very narrow, to where it was just wide enough for your vehicle, and you could see where they had chiseled out a rock, so you could get by. And they didn't chisel a bunch on the left side, so you had to tip sideways like this. So you're tipping downhill, looking down the hill, and Keith is spotting me through it. And Keith's going, yeah, come on. And Keith, being the piece of shit that he is he'd start going, and he knew that the Jeep was going to hit a little bump and tip rapidly, like make a little bounce move. And he would go, oh, and he'd get this like fearful look on his face. And then it would scare the shit out of you. And then he'd laugh and he'd go, I'm just kidding. And you're like, you're a fucking, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was going to roll down a hill, you asshole.
Is that right around that tree?
Right
Yeah.
after that tree, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
That
got past
tree.
that and then pulled over and welded you up.
Yeah, that was a gnarly spot.
Oh, that was further down.
Yeah. Remember?
Well,
it
yeah.
had
At the top, we had the tree. We had to go. You could go right or left around the tree.
Yeah. And
And
after you went around that,
and I had to
then
go
it
around
had-
that because I snapped it right there at the tree.
You did. Yep, that's where you broke it.
Right.
They had like the edge of the trail with
Yeah.
the chain link fence.
Yeah, chain link fence holding it up,
Yeah.
just trying to hold the trail together.
Yeah.
Exudes
I was
confidence.
distracted. I didn't notice that. I was
Sick.
Oh, yeah,
preoccupied.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, dude, it was fun. I would really like to go do it again, and I would like to do it with the Ruby crawler, so I have a better crawler gear, because by day 2, my brakes were smoked. I mean, I'd be both feet pulling on the steering wheel, pushing on the brakes, going, and then Jake would be spotting me going, no, slow down over this rock. I'm like, that's going over the rock as fast as it's going over the rock because I am fully pushed on my brakes and just, well, boom, and that was it.
That's every day.
I know, that's you every day. Forget that crap, man. Well, we do Rubicon. We got to do Rubicon, but we
I don't
got to
mind
do
doing it
Moab
again,
too.
but I want to do Moab.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
dying to do
I
Moab.
think a trip to Utah is definitely
It's
that would be a good time. You get like 4 or 5
Can we do
trails
both?
in.
Look at all
Same
this
year?
money. Look at all this
Yeah.
money I've saved on this COVID. You know, we're not doing anything anymore.
Are you making money?
A Hawaii trip? No, I don't make money.
Trump's gonna send me some
My
more
wife
vacation
does.
money.
Let's use our COVID check and do 2 trips this year.
So my issue with Moab is, well, again, I'm
You're gonna have a Jeep. You'll be fine.
that's part of the issue, I suppose. Is it's slick rock, right? So it's not rock crawling. My understanding is that it's not a lot of rock crawling like the Rubicon. It's slick rock, so it's bitchin' views,
Similar to
It's-
Sedona.
steep. It can
Yeah.
be off camber. You've got the hot tubs and things like that they're not. I mean, if you've got the balls to drive in the hot tub and you got to drive out, it's just steep, right? So either your vehicle can do it or it can't. And
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
but
I'm with you on that.
to me it's
You
a
say
week
that now.
it's a week-long trip. You take the dirt bikes, you take the mountain bikes, and you take a Jeep.
Yeah,
You post
Right.
up at a hotel.
Yes.
You do everything,
Yep.
right? You got to do all of it.
yeah. That's. Yeah, it's got to be. What do they do that spring?
Easter Jeep Safari.
That
right?
they do that in spring,
It's spring break.
So do we go
I
out?
don't
So do
know.
we go out there on Easter Jeep Safari week and watch all the crazies go through the bowls, or do we not give a shit and we go when there's nobody there?
Well,
Doesn't matter to me.
Right? I mean, you might.
I mean,
wanna-
it's
I
fun to
wanna
watch people for
Yeah,
sure, but
right.
It's
wanna
fun to watch the
experience
crazy
it,
stuff, but then
Yeah.
you
but
want
I
to do a
don't-
trail.
I'm not motivated
There's
to
a
see
million people
those
on it.
crowds right away.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
one day I want to experience it, but kind of over the crowd. stuff.
Yeah, I'm over doing like TDS. I'm over that, man. I didn't go this last year and it was great.
We went to Sedona.
We went to Sedona. That's right. And then
Um,
COVID hit and the world ended.
So on Holcomb Creek, you know that boulder where it's kind of at the top of the mountain. It's a little. The trail goes by on the right, and off to the left is like a clearing, and there's a big boulder. I mean, it's almost vertical. And you
It's
can,
where I stopped to reflash
Yeah.
my ECU once when I was overheating.
Yeah. And you wanted to climb the boulder.
We did, didn't we?
You didn't climb. I don't. You didn't
Not,
go
not
up
the
it all
boulder.
the way. You
Because there
just-
was a bypass thing that we did last time I went. We did the little bypass. That's not the same
That
thing.
same spot.
Was that the one I
Okay.
skipped and got yelled at?
Yeah. Bill skipped that little bowl. We yelled at him for that.
Look,
Yeah.
I talked to my son and I go, did that look like an obstacle? And he goes, well, that would be insane if that was an obstacle. So I took his word for it.
Yeah, and then
Then
we
I
said,
Then 5 minutes later, I got yelled at. So apparently I skipped something.
yeah, he skipped it. And then he wouldn't drive his Jeep back down to do it. So we really gave him hell for a while. So welcome to the group.
Anyway, I was gonna say, you were playing around on it the time you went when you were overheating and everything. Well, Todd drove up the backside of it, so he's up on top of the rock. He's all, Marty, spot me going down. I don't think so, Todd. I don't think it's a good idea. But I started going up it from the front, like up the vertical face, and I had turned on my phone. I have an app to
Oh, yeah, your angle.
keep track of your pitch and roll and stuff, and so started going up that thing. Felt like you were pretty much vertical. Matter of fact, I got up so high, even Todd was like, kind of like, whoa, take it easy, because it's like you're looking a little light, and it was only 26 degrees.
Yeah, right. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Inside the vehicle, you think, I'm going to die. Like Cole all day long was like, I don't like this. We're too far. And I'm like, it's fine. Like I've learned now that if I feel like it's too far, we're not even close.
Yep.
Like all the wheels are still on the ground. We're not anywhere near. Then you get out and you look at it and you go, why was I so worried about that?
Well, and that's where the Scout actually has a little bit of benefit because, one, it's a 100-inch wheelbase, and then you've got the overhang in the rear.
Yeah.
So where a Jeep's got nothing, right? A TJ's got nothing in the back. So going ass over tea kettle is easy,
Yeah.
right? it's tough in a Scout. There's a big wheelie bar back there.
Well, that's why I have that little beaver tail on the back of my
Right,
Jeep.
Right.
I have the little beaver tail and I have the stinger in the front, but I also have my wheelbase is what is mine, like 102 or something, because I got the LJ. So I really like the way, unlike Russo, who's got the wheelbase like Marty, the small wheelbase, right? Because it's a 2-door, and he doesn't even have a spare tire or anything back there. So Russo's super, tippy. The wheelbase, LJ, look it up. Look it up. Make sure. I'm pretty. Look up
95.
Yeah, look up an 06 Jeep Unlimited.
Wave on that picture?
No, there's no wave.
All right, our
It's on the
fact
rocket.
checkers are already fighting, so this is not going to go well. And here they go.
This is pretty
Jeep is spelled. It's GEAP. 2006 Unlimited.
It's like vertical almost. Todd wanted to come down. I'm like, dude, don't come down. That's not a good idea.
Well, we got to figure out how to schedule a Rubicon and a Moab. Because I agree with the Moab. The Moab isn't going to be something. It's not like you go in here and you come out here 3 days later. It's Cole brought up 103.4.
That's the LJ.
That's my wheelbase. It looks like according to the.
And
So
then
how
it's-
did you modify it though?
And then a 2-door JK. What's
think
that
it's still the
wheelbase?
same?
Yeah, because I didn't lengthen or shorten it at all.
Oh really?
Yeah, I left it the same. Although I've been thinking about stretching it, but I don't know. I think it works pretty good. Russo's going to stretch his another 4 or 5 inches, I think. So he's going to get a little bit more. But
What's the 4-door JK? Is that
the 4-door
One or
JK, I think is
12,
117 or something.
117
4-door.
that much?
121, I think.
Cole, look
it
at
actually is.
4-door
21.
JK. What do we got up there? So Bill's is 95.4. That's the 2-door JK, 95.4.
I think the JLs are 120.
Do the 4-door JK. I think it's like 117 for some reason. I don't know why that
maybe
number
the,
rings a
maybe
bell.
the
That much.
JT.
Let's see. Survey says 116.
Wow.
Pretty close.
That's
You
what I
were
said,
correct.
116.
That's what you said.
Is the Gladiator longer? Because maybe that's one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Gladiator.
Yeah, that could be a Gladiator.
Yeah, look at the Gladiator.
They're stupid long.
Because I was looking at lots of things before Brian got stupid and sold that Jeep to me.
Yeah, right. Oh, you guys look at all sorts of cool stuff. 137.3,
137.
Good golly.
and it has
What's another
three
Yeah.
feet of tail
Yeah,
overhang.
then the tail hanging over. Yep.
Yeah, well,
No thanks.
what's the new Bronco? Of course, you can't get. So here's the deal. So the Bronco you can't get. You can get on a waiting list, right? But you can't get it till 2021.
Right.
And then Jeep just teased their Hemi
Yeah.
that will come with 35s because everybody's giving Jeep shit about not coming already with a 35-inch
Mhm.
tire. So they're like, well, we're going to just go ahead and release the Hemi with the 35. And Cole brought up a good point because I said, didn't Jeep, so the base 2-door is 100.4 on the Bronco. See, they basically went and got all the perfect off-road specs and said, we're going to hit every off-road spec there is.
Well, they took on the 2-door. They went, from what I read, they went back to the original Bronco. You know, the
Yeah.
66 Bronco.
Which was a 100-inch
and,
wheelbase.
and it was a 100-inch wheelbase, right?
Right.
And they measured everything, and so the 2-door is supposed to match those specs pretty well,
Right.
dimension wise.
So now Cole.
Yeah.
So Cole was telling me earlier because I was saying, when do you think they're really going to bring out the Hemi Jeep? Why haven't they brought out the Hemi Jeep in the past? Is it because they haven't had any competition? There's no need, and this waiting for the Bronco is a perfect opportunity. And didn't they also say, Cole, that they're going to unleash a new electric Jeep, right? So there is an emissions law that you have to keep, right? So if you put V8s in Jeeps, where are you going to cut your base emissions somewhere else? Well, they're just going to offer an electric Jeep now.
So you throw out your Hemi, then you throw out your
So then their
electric.
percentage goes down, and they're meeting all these EPA requirements. So the writing's on the wall. They're teasing it for a reason.
Are they going to limit the V8? Are they going to limit how many the production numbers
Oh,
of the Hemi so that way
probably,
they can maintain their
probably.
EPA regulation
That or
requirements?
they figure we've got to make this many electric vehicles and ditch this many V6s, right? So it could totally go that way. All right. Well, anyways, we're out of here. I know this was a short podcast. We didn't quite make an hour, but it was a fresh crew today, and we want to talk about a little bit of what we did for the last few days. And on the next podcast, we'll let you know about whether or not if Ken and Brian got Jeeps And also, if you keep listening, we'll let you know where we go next. That way you can always meet us on the trail and hang out and get into some shenanigans with us. So thanks for listening again, and don't forget to subscribe. Later.
See ya.
This has been the Bent Motorsports Podcast. Thanks for listening in. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Bent Motorsports. Stay updated on the latest happenings, future projects, videos, and events here at the shop. Remember, guys, at Bent Motorsports, bits in stock, we've got it.